Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. The Columbus Police Department will soon be looking for a new chief. Chief Fred Shelton abruptly requested retirement today. His last day on the job will be August 15th.
And it may have been his best option. Today at a called meeting, the council voted unanimously to approve Shelton's retirement. Our Desmond Matthews talks to the chief and community after today's decision, and he joins us live with more. Desmond, what can you tell us?
Winston, Andrea, after about 25 minutes of executive session, the mayor and city council approved the letter of retirement for Chief Shelton. Mayor Gaskin also, about 40 people gathered outside of City Hall, and they were frustrated because they felt that the mayor had pushed Chief Shelton out. I talked to Chief Shelton, and he says that he is open-minded to retirement and he's ready for the transition.
On Friday, Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton says he received a notice of intent to terminate from Mayor Keith Gaskin. The chief believed his options were to resign, retire, or be relieved of his duties.
I didn't want to resign because I felt like I hadn't done anything wrong. And then the other one was the option was retirement. And with 42 years in, I thought it was a good time to go ahead and submit my letter for retirement.
Shelton gave a letter to the city council Monday at a special call meeting saying he wished to retire effective August 15th. City leaders voted 6-0 to approve his retirement, but the chief has his supporters, some community members who weren't happy with the process.
It was just heartbreaking to see the chief placed in the position in which he was placed in. Yes, there might have been some concerns. We all agree to that, but we feel collectively that due process did not take place.
I mean, do you look back in hindsight and say, can something be done different? Yes. Personally, no, I don't like the way that everything went down. He put in his retirement, and I voted to accept his retirement, and that's the end of it.
Shelton has been with the Columbus Police Department for over 20 years. He has served as chaplain, has ridden patrol, and served as interim chief. He has held the main job for 4 years. His impact on the community has left its mark. About 40 people were at the council meeting frustrated with the decision.
It makes me feel good, and it makes me show that as you say, this is a true example of community policing working. Because if them people had not had these relationships with me, they wouldn't have been there to support me.
Shelton has just over a month left to fulfill his chief duties, but he feels that he won't get the chance to make all the changes he really wanted.
One of the things that, if I was able to stay and had been here, was to work on 3 things: work on the retention, getting officers' pay up to where it needs to be, work on getting us better equipment, i.e. cars, radios, bulletproof vests, and the next thing was recruitment, finding a better way to recruit people to come to this department by offering maybe a bonus of incentives to come here.
Now, Chief Shelton may be away from the department, but he still feels that he can play an important role with helping those who may be burnt out or even stressed. Now, the police department is faced with all too familiar tasks, trying to find a new person to take over the position, and it is something that they've become very familiar with over the since 2003. Every time that they are looking for a police chief, they've only been in for roughly about 3 years. Takia Cummings talked to two council members, if I'm not mistaken, about what has gone on and how they plan to revamp the police department.